COVID, how much were they paying you guys? That's insane.
Was like around $100 an hour. The full year was a little bit under 400,000.
That's how you turn your husband or your spouse to a sugar daddy.
What can we do with this land? What can we do with this property
Uh-huh.
as opposed to just a regular standard like flip, I guess, or like live in flip? I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I found out about group homes like towards the end of my dad's life. My dad was in a skilled nursing facility. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something different.
I try to incorporate you. Sometimes I try not to have you involved with my work, but then also I know I need you. So I get it approved by the investor to be able to pay you. So you're kind of like my employee. What's going on, everyone? It's your girl, Gina.
And Scott,
And we're with the Dream Big Sweet Living podcast. And today we're going to be talking about how we have that balance of being a married couple for 18 years and also juggling kids, businesses, having a mini farm, and all that good stuff. So I guess we'll take it back to the beginning. So, what was our first investment and how did that go?
I guess that would be the townhouse, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
And how much did we buy that for?
about 148, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Because that was absolutely maxed out, top we could afford back at that time. And it was a townhouse here in Vegas, like 1,500 square feet, 3-bed. So we weren't really into real estate. We just wanted to own something to call our own. And along the way, we got the idea to like fix it up so we can get more money out of it. So it's kind of turned into like a live and flip.
Yeah. So with that, how much or no, we got it in 2014 and how much how long did it take for us to renovate and how much did we sell it for?
Well, we kind of did some like janky renovations. I was a new DIYer, like taking on a project that I wasn't handy growing up. So
Yeah.
you can imagine what that looked like. But we had to get some help eventually from a friend who used to do construction, and he made it really nice.
Yeah. Okay. So, and how much did we sell that for again? Okay. So we got it in 2014. We sold it in 2018, right? Yeah. 4 years.
Hmm.
Um, why are you looking not confident?
I just don't remember
Oh.
the exact dates.
Okay, so in 2018 we sold it. I think it was like for I don't remember, but we made like 93,000 off of it.
Hmm.
And this is when we were starting to listen to Bigger Pockets, and we met up. We were going through meetups or going to meetups, and this is where we were starting to learn more about investing. And I think that's probably one of the biggest takeaways is actually going to these meetups, networking, because it was the perfect timing because we were either going to sell the townhome or keep it as a rental. And we had to pray really hard and we decided to sell it. And boom, we made 93 grand. That's a lot of money. That was like the most money we've ever made in like a quick transaction, I guess. So with that 93,000, we decided to invest and tell them about that investment.
Oh, well, we did a bunch of stuff, and I'm not sure the exact order of everything.
Yeah.
We're part of this investing group where we did some like small, random, limited partnership investments,
Mm-hmm.
which looking back to, I wouldn't do anymore, like until I had like a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, I think just trying to keep that cash and use it for projects for yourself would be more beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're a limited partner, yeah, you just put your money down, you don't worry about it, and then
Yeah.
you get a check, but it's not really that big of a check.
Yeah. Oh, so after we sold the townhome, we decided we bought a house using your VA loan. And this was another fixer upper. And that one we got for 280.
Yep, 280.
Uh-huh. And so
So the first one, we kind of were just going to try to, the cement thing. We wanted to put cement countertops. So I bought some like quick mix stuff because I saw on YouTube. And I did that, and it was like the dumbest thing ever.
That was like the worst DIY project. And
Hmm.
then so we decided to try it again. So we bought another house that was needed a lot of love. It was live-in ready, but it was like very 70s.
Yeah.
But that one took a while for us to renovate. So we locked that up for 280 using the VA loan. So we didn't put anything down. And then after living there for 2 years, we did a cash out refi to help pay for our next house. But how did we get the money to renovate?
COVID deployments.
Oh yeah. This is where I turned Scotty into a sugar daddy. Because he's a nurse. So I encouraged him to go on these travel assignments. So during COVID, how much were they paying you guys? That's insane.
It was like around $100 an hour,
Uh-huh.
and you had to work like 6 days a week.
Yeah.
So a lot of overtime.
Uh-huh. So it was about a year that you were out, right? You went to New York and Texas.
Yep.
And in that year, are you comfortable telling everybody how much you made?
Enough. Nah, like almost the full year was a little bit under 400,000.
I thought it was 500 we made that year.
Well, that's with everything.
Oh, with my pay and then all our investments.
Hmm.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that was a wild, crazy year. So that's how you turn your husband or your spouse into a significant or into a sugar daddy, is by encouraging them to go to those COVID deployments. But I know it's not going to happen again, but
Yeah.
if it does,
I knew that was like a once in a lifetime thing, and I knew that wasn't going to last. So I wanted to take advantage. I mean, it sucked because I had to leave, and
be gone for a year.
it felt like I didn't have a life. I mean, I don't do anything anyways, but being in a hotel, like eating sandwiches all the time because I was a cheap ass, it's
Yeah.
just like automatic. And then like when I got back, like all I was doing is just eating sandwiches all the time. And I'm slowly getting out of that a
Yeah.
couple years later.
Hallelujah. So okay, so we were living in the house while you were on your COVID deployment. I decided to use that funds to do a renovation, a live and flip. So me and the boys and our dogs, um, it took about 3 or 4 months, I believe. We actually hired Sergio's parents. I call them Tia and Theo. He's also a wealthy investor student. So it's crazy because I didn't know at the time he was actually in this program. But yeah, he was we knew him through some of the meetups some of the meetups that we went to, and we're looking for help to help renovate our place, and he said his parents are available, and I'm so grateful for them. And now seeing their growth and where they're at now, they don't do any of like the hard lifting or like laying the flooring and all that. They're like the project managers of all their flips that they do. So it just makes me really happy, and just seeing their growth, it inspires us, you know. So that one took 4 months, and then we did the cash out refi around the same time, and we started looking for homes for our next deal, right?
Hmm.
What was that next deal?
Well, the house we're living in now.
Yeah.
So yeah. So this time, like going into it, we were looking into what can we do with this land? What can we do with this property,
Uh-huh.
as opposed to just a regular standard like flip, I guess, or like live in flip.
Yeah.
So this one had a casita in the back, that we knew we could make some money off of. And it also had a lot of land. So, I mean, you didn't tell me that you're planning to get all these damn turtles and stuff, but
He doesn't know, but the whole reason why I wanted this house was because I wanted that backyard so I could get my tortoises and chickens, my mini farm pretty much. So yeah, he was looking at that for the casita purpose.
the casita, and then what possibly like adding more living space to rent that out as well.
Yeah, so we're actually in the process of going through, we have to go through the Southern Nevada Health District because we are on septic. We have to apply for an ADU to be added onto the septic. So I need to submit that application. It's been a while. And so that's another project that we're planning to do. So the house that we locked up that we're talking about is how many bedrooms? 5-bedroom house.
Yeah, it says 5 bedrooms.
including the casita
Uh-huh.
on half an acre. And how much did we get that for?
That one was 720,
No,
40,
740.
740,
740,000.
740,000.
And so we used the way we were able to pay for the down payment on that because we used what did we get? FHA loan?
That one we did FHA.
Yeah, because we couldn't qualify for another VA loan because it was already locked up with the other house. So we ended up turning the live and flip that we previously did into a rental. We found great tenants for that. Freaking love her. I call her my friend aunt.
Gotta be careful with that.
I know, but still, she's like, we're cool
No,
like
yeah,
that. We
she's
understand.
awesome.
Yeah, but so we have a long term tenant in that. That's definitely going to be a buy and hold. Long term, we're not going to get rid of that property. And so this one now that we're living in is we house hack it. So the attached casita, we spent 60 grand turning it into a midterm rental, and we call it the banana bungalow, which is my baby. And so we spent 60 grand adding a separate entrance. We added a kitchenette, um, extra plumbing, and also,
Made the backyard, their
yeah,
little side of the house, like
uh-huh,
where their entrance is,
private.
it's private and it's kind of like it's a little bit nice, you know. They have their own space to like if they
Yeah.
have animals, whatever.
Yeah. So
So we try to think of all that.
yeah. We made it high end with the renovations because I don't know why, because I know with renovations as an investor you're supposed to go really cheap so you can make more profits, but I like to create rentals where it's an experience. So even with our long-term rental, it's top of the line like appliances and renovations. I guess it's just a niche that everyone is for or not, but I guess I'm more towards like the luxury side, but even though it's not really super luxury.
It's a nice experience.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say luxury, but it's
It's a nice, yeah, it's a nice experience. So the casita we get about 1,600 a month, and we put that on Airbnb, Furnish Finder, and also word of mouth. And so that pays for almost half our mortgage because our mortgage is 3,400.
mhm,
But there's also another hack that we do is that we land hack, which is genius.
renting land.
Yeah.
So basically, we have a land tenant. He's a pilot, a single pilot,
He's buying toys too.
and he likes to like take his boat to Lake Mead for a day. But anyways, it started out with a couple cars, and then it turned into a kayak and a car, and then it turned into a RV and a boat now. And then he found a friend that also has an RV. They parked it there too.
Yeah. So we live our front of the house is fully gated, privately gated. So that's why we can rent out our land for a little bit more because it's gated. We have a bunch of security cameras. So we can fit a lot of vehicles and toys in the front. And so it's a great way to make $400. We're making $400 a month. This is like the easiest, most passive income you can ever do. I highly recommend if anyone has land or garage or a shed in their backyard that they don't use, that's empty, highly recommend to put it on neighbor.com because then you'll find this is your lead source. So this is where you find people who would be willing to rent that space out. So if you have a spare garage or half of a garage that you're willing to let a neighbor, just make sure you vet them out. Make sure you have somebody with you that vets them. FaceTime them first, and then if you feel like vibe them out, fill them out. Make sure like they're cool and all, and then you want to give them your address and then meet them in person. And when you meet them in person, make sure you have someone with you because there's a lot of weirdos out there. But we got really lucky with ours. Yeah, that's so easy to like make $400 a month.
And then if they have a boat, you can probably go on a boat trip with them.
Yeah, like our land tenant took us out to Lake Mead, so that's a experience hack that we did. Got to go to Lake Mead for free, so that was cool. Okay, so with this, we should explain what a memory care home is. So what's a memory care home?
Basically, it's an assisted living home,
Mm-hmm.
residential house. where you take care of, it's not just seniors, but it's also people with any kind of like cognitive decline, anything like that, dementia, Parkinson's, other kind of things. We also have room, or we had room for regular residents, and we had a few of those as well.
Hmm.
So it's just a more regulated, I guess, setting for adults.
Yeah. So it's a house where we have staff, we have caregivers, and also an administrator who helps take care of all like making sure our papers are in line and we're
So
state compliant.
we had to have like menus, activity lists. Um, our caregivers were trained to give meds, so they wouldn't necessarily. They would just like pour them, match it on a record, match it with the label,
Hmm.
give it to them, make sure it's safe, because some of them wouldn't remember to take their meds,
Yeah.
basically.
And why? I'm just so curious because I think I asked this last time, but like, why a memory care home? Because that's like one of the most random businesses that you can own, especially at someone your age. You're like super young. So,
Um, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and then I found out about group homes like towards the end of my dad's life.
mhm.
So I kind of just got like quick exposure. I didn't think anything of it at the time.
How do we balance that? Because that was really hard owning a business, especially with your significant other. Like, how was that for you?
Um, Challenging, very challenging, because you get fed up with stuff, and then you kind of like, throw your little BF.
BF is bitch fit. So either one of us, if we don't get our way, we'll throw a bitch fit, like a little
I don't.
a tantrum. Okay. You're like the one known for that.
No, not. Depends on what. No, I don't.
That's the walk I believe that we're on. We're trying to just start businesses where it's with our passions, you know? So because of the sale of that business, Scotty took a break from nursing and
Quit.
so that's probably why I decided to start co-host ninjas. So right after the memory care home sold, we were having a litter of French bulldogs, and so I decided to put in my 2 weeks for my 9 to 5, and I was helping an investor with his portfolio here of 15 properties on Airbnb, and then we had our litter of puppies. Tell everyone about that experience.
It's worse than having a newborn, because with French bulldogs, you have to be very in there. You have to make sure everything's going right. You have to constantly check them, weigh them, all this, make sure they're clean, make sure the environment's clean, make sure they're eating. So it can be hectic, especially like the first couple of weeks. You're like feeding them every 2 hours, and this is like 24/7. So someone's always up with them.
Yeah, that was extremely tiring. And so what is our strategy? Because we have not been marketing them like we should be. I mean, we did put them on AKC, and then we did put out like a little few feelers here and there on social media that we're selling Frenchies, but we haven't marketed them hard, and they're like 3 months old now. So what are
Yeah,
we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
and it's just we're not meant to do that.
I
Like
know.
have litters, because then we want to keep them all. We
I
love them all.
know. That's the worst part. I fell in love with all four of them. Like literally, they all have the different personalities, and they're all so freaking cute.
And now just thinking about selling them, I don't want to sell them to the wrong person. Where
Yeah, we actually turned down a few people because they're just not a good fit for the puppy. So we always, you know, make sure that it's a right fit for both parties. The puppy and also for the owner, the new owner.
Mhm.
So it's been a little bit slower. So just like real estate, the Frenchie market is oversaturated right now, and uh, the even like the market for real estate, it's down. Just like with the French bulldog industry, it's down as well.
It's just
So
the economy's
yeah, the economy's
not the greatest right now.
yeah. Uh, so we have to strategically think and be creative on how we're going to sell these puppies if we do. But we were also, for the longest time, like ever since we had the litter, we're actually thinking about just blessing other people with Frenchies because we have been so blessed this year.
And we just love to
Yeah.
breed so much. Like
Yeah.
that was part of the experience of doing that breeding was just to, see it
Learn.
from the start.
We've learned since because we've realized breeding is not for us. We're thinking about blessing other people with these Frenchies. But the goal is to hopefully the new owners will train them and get them therapy trained because eventually we want to start convention dogs. And that's where tell everyone what convention dogs is.
So basically have the dogs trained to be therapy animals. So they're
Hmm.
used to getting pet, they're used to people, and it just helps bring attention to in the convention to whatever booth they go to.
Hmm.
Because we've had experience where we brought our older dog Big, who's a therapy dog. Um, he went to a couple booths and man, he got people there.
Yeah, it's crazy because people it's a rare um long-haired Frenchies are not rare, but I would say they're not really known. So when people see them, they're like, "Ooh, what is that?" You know? So it brings a lot of people to the booth. And I wish I had more statistics, but every time that we would go to a booth, we would volunteer our time and we learned that this company would pay one company and we as volunteers volunteered our time with our dogs that are therapy trained because we love dogs so much and because we're bringing dogs to an office or to a convention and seeing how much joy it brings to other people like brings me so much joy and we'll charge them way less and it's direct to seller, you know, that company can do straight to us instead of having this middleman trying to get all the money and we only volunteer our time. So I figured like, why not try and start this business? So I don't know. We always were risk takers, and I feel like that's one of the businesses I think that would do really well. So that's another venture hobby that we're trying to do. I did start co-host ninjas, so that's pretty much where I am helping an investor. The one that I did quit, I found out that the person who took over my role quit, so I'm helping him again. But instead of hiring me as a W-2, I started my own co-host ninjas company. So it's a co-hosting company where I help him deal with all the logistics of running an Airbnb, midterm rentals, or any furnished rental. So, uh, yeah, we hire the vendors and everything. So it's right now I'm in that build phase. So I'm like trying to learn how to automate everything. Hopefully, I can hire out soon. Well, I've been hiring out a bunch of stuff, but I'm hopefully I can hire more people to help replace me so I could manage them because I've been having to turn down clients, and that's like the worst part, you know? It's like, dang, I have something going, I have something good here, so I really need to like focus on this and like learn how to scale appropriately. After the care home, you and Nick decided to start, or we all as a family and the Parox decided to start Vegas Home Adventure, and that's where we try to find deals like wholesale deals, flips, and so, how have we been finding our deals? Because we did two wholesale deals. We found our two wholesale deals through door knocking, and I would recommend that's still a good thing to do. But I'm stepping back from real estate investing right now so I could focus on building and growing co host ninjas. So, Scottie has been he's been helping me trying to build my business as well, but he's slowly going to get back into real estate investing. So, what's your strategy now moving forward? What are you trying to do?
Right now we're just looking into like texting sellers and so basically going direct to seller just so we can have like first crack at the deal. Then
Mhm.
based on whatever they tell us, we can figure out what kind of deal might work best for us. Right now, buying is a little challenging because at first we wanted to do flips. We just got into program, but just seeing how the market's going. We'll still flip, but it just has to be the good deal.
Yeah.
So right now, just looking on maybe wholesaling, maybe creative finance. If just depends on an opportunity that comes up.
Yeah. And so what is your buy box?
Generally looking for something around 400,000.
So a buy box is when it's as an investor, it's like what you're looking for. So ARV and ARV is after repair value. When you say 400,000, what do you mean by that?
So the after repair value.
Uh-huh.
So we'd probably buy it for whatever 300,000, say,
Mhm.
and then put in some money so we can list it or fix it, and the price should be based on like comps worth 400K when we're done. So that's like the after repair value that we're targeting basically, which is
Okay.
like right about like the market average.
Okay.
Because going above that, the house can sit a little bit longer usually, or right now it seems like if it's priced right, it'll go fast.
Mhm. Okay. And what do you so what's the next steps? What are we planning on doing? Because I know we're all over the place with all these crazy business ventures and stuff. So
Right now we're just getting the texting platform set up because we want to do it the right way. We had to have our business license in place to even get service with that provider.
mhm.
So I got a couple videos to review that they sent me a tutorial basically on that platform,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna take a look at it today.
Okay. And what so we've been in the wealthy investor program for since July. So that's what August, 4 months. How have you found it beneficial?
I love it. It's hard for me too because I don't like asking for help, but they are there. The help is there, and you
Yeah.
got like people who have all kinds of experience, like in every type of like real estate niche over here,
Mhm.
or niche, whatever. But there's help available. They have accountability calls. So if you put into the program, they have like everything you need. Like if you need a deal, they'll send deals. You just have to run the numbers yourself, make sure what fits you. You can partner with people and just ask questions at any time. But they do also have like the educational stuff, like the calls and the
Mhm.
courses.
Yeah.
So I like it. I think it's a good investment.
Yeah, it is a good investment because we have access to like the OGs of like our accountability partner is Brian Davila. So he was what Ryan's first student.
Yeah,
So yeah, so like our strategy was always live in flips and like so now we're learning how to not live in them,
because it's
which
messy.
yeah, it's crazy. I don't recommend it because we're still doing our current live and flip now. So we're trying to renovate the next half of our house, but it's hard to find our like contractors, you know? So
We're just trying to find the right contractor.
yeah. I decided to try to launch an e-course because I documented the banana bungalow throughout the beginning to the end, and I had so many people reach out, and it's a lot of time to like reply to DMs and everything. So I decided to package everything that I know into an e-course, and then I decided after filming it, I realized, damn, I don't want to freaking do an e-course because that's not me, you know. I don't want to be one of those people who sell an e-course. So I decided to switch it up and turn it into a YouTube. So I'll be dropping a bunch of knowledge on furnished rentals, midterm rentals, house hacking, co-hosting, and all that stuff. Because I feel like that's my jam and I really enjoy it. I really love sharing all the tips and tricks that I go through. And working for an investor who's hella cheap has taught me to really enjoy how to shop frugally.
Thank the
So,
Lord. Been waiting for that all my life.
shut up. So, that's one thing that I've been sharing on my journey as well is where I buy stuff, how much it costs, and I really enjoy sharing that because people want to know. 8 deliveries to Amazon through my queue to a property that's going to be staged. And we're finding out that a lot of the orders can't be put into the garage because I don't know, for whatever reason, it's not. Um,
Because ordering through Amazon, we're trying to automate like
yeah,
us not being at the property, worrying about packages being
being
left
stolen.
outside and then stolen, and it just creates a mess.
Yeah,
Because what you were doing is going to auction,
I know.
getting this stuff, and then there's like hardware
Screws missing.
missing. After you put everything
I
together, you
know.
realize you're missing like the last final pieces.
I know. No, but I was so even with like Amazon orders, we would deliver it to our house and then we'd have to do multiple trips to that other house or any house to deliver that, and that's hard on your back cuz your back sucks. But he's an old man. He's always hurting his back.
I was gonna say some stuff.
What?
It's not appropriate.
Oh.
Um,
But yeah, so I think we're learning how to automate the business. So I think that's one thing, that's a pain point that or a bottleneck that we're working on. So if anyone has tips or tricks on how to automate co-hosting or staging a home, let us know because I did actually get a good tip. So I post a lot on social media, right? On my stories and stuff. And I would post, I had a freaking meltdown at Walmart one time because I was like literally 5 carts deep of just hella shit in there, like all the pillows, hella TVs, and just all the necessities you need to stock a home, right? And I remember posting that picture, and someone in the comments was like, why don't you just order it? And I was like, oh my God, like light bulbs went off. And I was like, that's freaking genius. So now I have a Walmart order list and I just hit like reorder and then boom, I I do it for pickup and then I pick up the next day and then I take it to the home that I need to stage. And it like saves me literally 3 or 4 hours because I would literally be in Walmart trying to grab everything that I need. And it would take me 3 or 4 hours and I'm by myself pushing up all these carts in the front. And then people looking at me like, what the hell is this bitch doing? Buying the whole store.
that's what I say every day.
But yeah, so I'm really grateful that I post my journey because I'm learning like little hacks from friends or family that's like say, hey, do this or do that. Um,
I
s-
tried to give you a tip about putting stuff in the garage, getting it delivered.
yeah, and look what happened. Now we have to be at that other property for the next 4 days.
We live close.
I know, but still, it sucks. But yeah, let's talk about how we balance life, like our marriage life, kids, and all these freaking businesses, because it's a hot mess. Like, let's share some tips because it's hard.
Patience is key.
And I'm
'Cause-
always right.
Definitely not. You think that, but I just know when to be quiet sometimes.
Mhm.
So I learned to pick my fights. If it needs to be something that we need to talk about, then we'll talk about it. But
Mhm.
otherwise, I'll just, let you do your stuff. But
How do you incorporate? Because we can obviously tell you go to the gym and you eat healthy. So how do you incorporate like doing real estate, having kids, eating healthy, and going to the gym? Like, how do you do all of that? Because that's like someone who's really determined and committed. You know, like, what's your
um,
secret?
I guess it's just I'm so boring. I don't do anything else that, and I don't want to really do anything else. So it's just easy for me to like, I'm a routine person. And so part of like just eating that way, weighing my stuff, all that good stuff, going to gym, that's just, I don't know. I just been doing it since the military, and
Yeah.
it kind of just carried on over. But you have to be intentional about your time because with the kids and then the wife and all the animals, it's a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, it really is. And so with our kids, we try to implement trying to eat dinner almost every night together. And then also we have a book club, our own little family book club. It's our first one was how to win friends and influence them, right?
Influence people.
Or yeah. I think that book came up because Adrian said that he was insecure around his friends or something, right?
No, I just asked him if he talks around his
Or
friends. He said,
oh.
oh no, I think I asked him if he talks a lot, which he
So he's
probably gets it from me. I don't know, but we don't talk a lot. So I told him like to read this book. We just started,
yeah.
and it's we're getting there. Like I just tell them to read a chapter and then tell me what they think of what they
Yeah.
read,
Uh-huh.
and so I just see what kind of message they're getting from it.
Yeah. That's how we're incorporating family time, even with helping out with the farm. They're super helpful with helping with the Frenchies. Um, Grateful for that. And what else? How do you balance the wife and your life?
It's very hard to balance because you can't make up your mind, and you change your mind after you made a decision about something. So I kind of just have to go with the flow, basically. Because sometimes you'll say, I don't need you for
uh,
this day. And then next morning you're like, can you help me? So it's hard. It's just doing what you have to do. I see you struggling, so I want to help. And I prioritize trying to help you first.
That's so sweet.
I wish you realized
No, yours. That is very sweet.
it.
But yeah, so
What about you? What
what?
would you say?
How to balance you
Yeah.
and work? I try to incorporate you. Sometimes I try not to have you involved with my work, but then also I know I need you. So I get it approved by the investor to be able to pay you. So you're kind of like my employee. um, what else? I think that we should talk about like tips and tricks on some marriage advice. We've been married 18 years. Who the fuck would have thought that?
None
Right?
of your friends.
I know. Our friends had bets on us because we've only known each other for 2 months before we got married. He slid into my DMs on Friendster.
It's not all I slid into. No, just kidding. No.
But you guys can keep that in too. We don't care. We're a mess. But yeah, so yeah, we've been married 18 years. Like, what the hell is the secret sauce to that?
At first, just being married, I would try to get my point right. Like I didn't care. I wanted to be right. So I would argue with you about anything and everything. And we were that couple that like fought
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if it was the kids or because you said I came back an asshole after my deployments.
Yeah.
I felt the same.
No, bro, you were hella mean. He's okay. So he was in the Marine Corps for 8 years. He went on 3 deployments. After the first one, you were a dick. The second one, hella rude, hella mean. You come back like a mean person. And I get it. It's because you've been gone for 7 months. You're doing your thing in Iraq or Afghanistan.
You
So
feel like a macho man because you just went to war. And then and you're young, you're stupid.
Yeah.
So, well, I was. So, I mean, I didn't realize I was an asshole, but I don't know. It was
Yeah.
just, that's what happened, I guess.
No, I mean
I felt the same.
we went through it. We got through that storm. I think just going through prayers, and it was a lot of prayers.
Not those days.
I
I
know.
wasn't around that yet.
But
But I think having a kid helped. I mean, that's not a solution. I'm not telling anybody with problems to have a kid because that's not going to help anything necessarily. But for me, it helped me grow.
Yeah.
And, I just started letting you think you're right. And life was easier.
Dude, I'm always right.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think we probably should talk about in every
What's your marriage tips?
um I would
See, I'm very low maintenance, so you have it easy.
Yeah, you are
You
very
just
low maintenance. Too low.
just give me
Um,
what I need and I'll be good.
I would say marriage advice is to be able to let you do your thing, um, while I do mine. I love my alone time. So whenever I have that, I'm like, hell yeah. Like when the kids are at school or when you're like at the gym or whatever and I have my alone time, I'm like sipping my tea, listening to my podcast, just enjoying my alone. That's my time where I get rejuvenated. And I would say balance of learning like who's going to do dinner or who's going to do breakfast lunch or who's going to walk the dogs and take the kids to school. It kind of just works out to where we kind of just know our roles, and it like we know one day, like
Not our roles, but like,
we know the process and the systems, like
yeah.
who's going to take the kids to school or who's going to
And now our kids are old enough, so like we have them cook dinner sometimes.
yeah. I love it. It's
So
amazing.
just simple stuff, but like ground some meat, whatever, cook it, whatever.
Yeah.
And it helps a lot,
Hmm.
especially with all the craziness, the zoo we have. They help take care of the animals a lot.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, and share. And if you guys found this helpful or inspiring in any kind of way, let us know in the comments so we could learn and grow with you guys, because we don't know what the hell we're doing. We're learning, we're trying to podcast and just share our journey as entrepreneurs. And yeah, peace.